Hi, today I am reviewing Groken by Kenneth Roquefort. This was crowdfunded through an Indiegogo campaign. I unfortunately missed out on that and I bought it secondhand on eBay, and it was expensive and the prices have gotten even higher since. There was also two mini comics. I don't know about how big they were, but I don't think they were full size. They're in black and white, and those are also harder to find. I did not get those two books. This came with the card. I don't know if this was a sign up card or just you got it for backing the comic, but either way, not every order on eBay I saw was coming with this thing. And then on the back, there's like a little mini comic. I don't kind of thanking you or something for buying it. So I was happy it came with that. The book itself, whatever you're doing right now, just stop and go buy it. You don't even have to watch this, just go buy the book. It's awesome. But I will review it. So it kind of blew me away. Just the fact that there's so much creativity in it, and I think that was my favorite part. Like, there's a lot of fantasy stuff that we've all seen before. So how do you do that in a new way? How do you make it your own? And that's the things that this book does very well. He takes a lot of the stuff we've seen before, magic, dragons, those type of things, and then puts his own twists on it, comes up with a lot of new stuff, and it's just so many ideas where if I like things with a lot of lore and history. So if he were to release like Groken, character book or the world of Groken or something, I would totally buy that and just want to read everything about it and learn everything about this world, because I feel like he has thoroughly thought everything through and wasn't like, oh, okay, this is the plot of my book. Now I'll make a story. I feel like it was more, okay, this is the story, but let me also come up with like everything else that you wouldn't even, that isn't important to the story. Let me design a world around this so that there's more to it than just a plot. And that makes the world come alive to me, because these little things that you see here and there that might be hints at something or express a larger world. And I mean, some of these things are not even really spelled out to you. You just have to kind of pick up on it yourself or just look in the background and notice some things. And you go, wow, they're like, how does that little tool work? How does that work? What 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 does this do? Where'd he come up with that? Like, I just wanted to keep finding out more information about all of these things that he has put in the world. So the main character, Groken. Now, this could be one of the negative things, and I've seen some people talk about this where they say the main character didn't really appear in the book too much, which is true, and that a lot of characters were introduced. This is also true. Like, if you flip to the back, this is the character list from this book. Now, granted, not necessarily these are the only characters talking, but like the proportionally, like really, it's only like a few main characters. These other characters kind of just maybe have one single panel or don't even speak. So I feel like it wasn't that many characters. There's some art in the back. So I feel like it wasn't so many characters to where I'm like, well, I don't even understand this. But as far as a first volume, I can see how people would say, what was all this? Like, there was no, you don't really know what's happening yet still. And that part is definitely subjective. I could see someone not liking that. But to me, I like that. I like that I don't know the plot yet, because if it was just a simple fairy tale or a simple plot, I would already know the entire plot by reading this. And let's say it's like 6 volumes or whatever, and you completely spell out your entire plot in the first volume. I lose a lot of interest because I go, oh, okay, you got to find the crystal to save the kingdom, whatever. Like, now I just have to watch all of this play out, and it's not very exciting to me because you laid groundwork further ahead than you should have, to me. So this, I don't know what exactly is driving a lot of these characters yet. I don't know who Groken is still. Is that a detriment? I don't think so. I think it is called building a mystery and not throwing everything to you simply all at once and in an easy way so that you could have it spoon fed to you. I think you should have to work a little bit for it and also give you something to think about. I mean, it is the first issue, so I try to think of it like a first episode of a TV show. Maybe that's not the greatest analogy, but the first episode of a TV show, you're not going to know, more like Game of Thrones, where there was still so many things you didn't know after the first episode and who these characters really are. And, like there was a lot more to learn. So not knowing everything about Groken doesn't bother me. I mean, sure, the book is named after okay, he doesn't really do anything this issue, but I don't know. Let's say this thing's 10 volumes from now, or 10 volumes long. I assume by then we're going to know a lot more about him, so it doesn't bother me. But there he is here, and he's just weird. I don't know what is going on with this character. I guess they were like experimenting on him, so they changed him a lot. And he wakes up, and he was like, this is the stuff I liked that was very creative. He was like poisoned, so he has to get all of his poison out of him. So he like burns it. He has like little engines or something. And he doesn't really like go into detail to explain any of this. He just like, how it works. This is it. This is the only mention of it here. He says he has to burn the poison inside of him. How does this work? I have no idea. Who has little engines that could burn poison? I don't know, but I like that he left it like that. Like a very less is more, where it's just like, yeah, this is a thing he can do. And then here you could see like the smoke and stuff from it being burned. But the plot itself, at least the setup for the world, is there was a time where there were dragons, and it seems like they hold a lot of magic. And along came like kind of dark science. He writes macabre science here. Came along and stole the power of the fantasy world, more or less. I mean, dragons, but, I'll say kind of stole the power of fantasy and used it to make dark, terrible things with technology. I find that a very interesting setup and a great fusion of two different things to mix fantasy with messed up technology. It's a good metaphor. It's probably been done before, but everything has. So I like that setup. So it seems like that plays a very central key to everything else, how it'll play out, whether they're trying to, fix the world to what it once was, or, find some type of MacGuffin or something. But the creativity is still what astounds me. Like every time I thought I was surprised, I got surprised even more. Like Groken's weapon right here. So he has a sword, and here he is. He's going to use a sword, and he puts this like canister in it and imbues it with magic or some type of spell or something. And I thought that was super fucking cool. Like, what a unique thing. Like, I've never seen anyone load a spell into a sword. Like, that's just really cool. Those are the type of ideas that add another level of a book or a concept story to me. When, like, he didn't have to do that. He could have just pulled out a sword or had it a spell or said something. But when you keep adding all these little things into this world, it just makes it feel like it's really exists and it's more thought out. Like, if you see Groken, the character here, I don't know what the fuck that thing is. It's like, I don't know. Because maybe his chest, I don't know. A heart, I don't know what that is. I hope eventually he explains that. Because the design of him has so many little things that I'm wondering what they all do. I mean, mainly that. So the art, I should talk about that because this shit is awesome. I mean, even if you don't like fantasy stuff, and I don't really like fantasy stuff, so the fact that I like this so much is really a positive because it's not a genre I care about for the most part. So to make me like fantasy this much is also impressive. But the art would be worth buying it alone, even if you don't like fantasy, because this shit is just awesome. I mean, it was drawn, inked, painted, colored, all by Kenneth. And it just is, you just have to get it to see how great this shit looks. Every single aspect is awesome. The design of the characters, the coloring, the panel layout themselves, and all the detail. Like, my camera will not pick up the amount of detail that is in this thing. So many little elements and trinkets and parts to each page and character that it's almost endless. Like, I could honestly just stare at even one page for a long time and continue to see tiny little details. Also, shit like this is just awesome. It like explodes off the page. Another thing that was very creative to me, and this sets the tone of the book. I think the first page might be like explaining something very rudimentary or something about the world, but it really starts here where I was immediately bowled over, where he explains that this image right here is a prison. I'm like, what? And it's actually called the Melted Hope, or the Candle of Hope. So this is a prison that is a candle, at least in name, and also in view it looks like it. I don't know if this was actually just a normal prison, and it is brick and mortar, and maybe a dragon burned it, and it took this form afterwards, and people said, oh, it's like a candle now. Or if this is actually a candle. I'm not 100% sure. I mean, it is very candle-like, but either way, think it matters too much because the idea is still awesome. Like, what the fuck? Who thought? Well, Kenneth did, but how did he come up with a candle prison? Very, very unique. That's an extra layer of creativity to me because I feel like most people would just make it a normal prison. So, and I've seen a normal prison a million times. I've never seen a candle one before. So, thanks for giving me something new. But yeah, that just sets up this character here who has some type of secret or something to hide, and it also bookends the story. We do go back to him. Now, I won't spoil the entire story here, but this was another thing I thought was very creative. When it gets to this lady, she's going to bring him some food, and they just talk about how she has an entire ecosystem based around her, and that's it. It doesn't go more than that. It just explains how there's flies that live around on her, and then the bats live off the flies, and therefore an entire ecosystem is created from this lady. Reading it, I was like, what the fuck? It made me laugh, but it also was just an odd detail to put in and also a creative detail. And then the fact that I feel like, I probably would have done this also if I was writing this. I would write all these extra things about it. Oh, yeah, and then this happens in her world and all this. And it'd be kind of overkill where it's like, all right, dude, like you had a funny idea with an ecosystem around her and then you killed it. Kenneth does not. It's just this one single thing right here. We move past it. That was a good way to do that and clever. It leaves me wanting to know more about it. It made me laugh. And it wasn't like self-indulgent. Yeah, there's a lot of like just surprises. Like when Groken escapes, this mystery character follows him. I'm trying to find that page. So we see there's just like some eyes here. And, we're like, okay, this character is going to follow him. I assume through the sewers. So if this is the sewer, like, oh, okay, this character must be somewhat normal in size. And then when we get to him, his hand is like bigger than the well. I was like, what the fuck? That was awesome. And then when he like comes out, he gets even bigger and just like explodes off the page. What a cool way to make an idea even bigger than real life. Like this was just so imaginary to just be like, yeah, this character is even bigger than what you think. I'm like, oh, okay, he's big. No, he's even bigger than that. Like, oh my God. Like, way to like up the ante so much. And this was an example of another person or another idea that like kind of flipped me a little bit, because we see that, this dude is definitely some type of bad dude. And I'm like, oh, okay, he's in some cool ass like alien armor or whatever. Because you don't really get a whole look at him there. You just see, okay, he's like that. And he's talking, and then I'm like, wait, what? That's him? He's like a slug or something. I don't know. I loved it. I'm like, what? So weird and wacky, and also a great like little build up and reveal to not just show you that, that's kind of what this dude is instantly, just let you kind of slowly discover this. That was a cool way to do it. Same thing with the girl that like this is a person helping Groken, like some weird ugly dude. You're like, oh, okay. And then when he goes to like help, he flies through the air, and I was like, wow, that dude really has a good figure. Nice, well shaved legs. And then the mask comes off and it was a lady. It was just interesting to kind of like distort my perception of things again, which he did a good job of doing that. That weapon's pretty awesome. Like, I would just like to know how that works. That's what I mean. Like, all these little things where, and I know just from reading this that he knows how this works. He thought about it. He thought about what it does, how it works, the maybe lore behind it. I mean, I can't say for certain how detailed it is, but it feels like he knows the history of this weapon itself, which I appreciate, and I feel like I'm repeating it a lot, but it does make the world feel less made up and real. The fact that you can put so many things in this and not just skimp on all the details and just be like, okay, yeah, dragons died or didn't, and fantasy, without all this extra detail and lore behind it. So again, if you have not backed this, there is a sign up currently available for Groken 2. I don't know when he'll be launching that, but somewhat soon, so you could still get a sign up and whatever perk might be available for that. And there will be a reprint of Groken 1 available with that, so I would not wait on that. So the good, all of it. It was all great, and I loved every aspect of it. I have no complaints. I just want more. Like, even like this lady with 2 melted crowns on her head. It's like another great design made up thing. The bad, yeah, he does kind of throw a lot of characters at you. Like, I don't even remember who the fuck this dude is, what he did, why he was even there. I barely remember actually even seeing this guy. Only thing I remember is that shot of him on like a surfboard or whatever, because it looked really cool here. But other than that, I honestly don't remember anything about this dude. I don't know what he did. There are a lot of pieces that seem like they need to come together, and a lot of characters that just constantly get thrown at you. I would say that might be the only negative thing I could really say. And the ugly, well, the designs of the characters, but I mean, that's kind of on purpose. Like this lady, she would qualify as that. But that is on purpose. So I will say this book does not qualify for that category. Nope, here's the back. So yeah, if you have not backed this, you're stupid. Thanks.
Now get your tail out of here before I kick some deer butt. Better run.
Now this is my alien vagina fleshlight, my alien pussy. I've never put my dick in it, believe it or not.